Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't had a chance to do it yet, we love it. If you go down and hit subscribe for us so you can come back over and over again. We've got some amazing filmmakers this weekend, but every day of the week you got filmmakers, authors, artists of all kinds right here on the show. We're here at the 19th Annual Melbourne Independent Filmmaker Festival, and we're hanging with Russell Sanders, a screenwriter and a director from Shadow of Doubt. Russell, thanks for hanging with us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So, let's talk about Shadow of Doubt.
Shadow of Doubt was actually my second film to come to the festival.
Okay.
It was a great experience in filmmaking, and that filmmaking is just problem solving. And it was really good because the first one I had was called Breakfast in Bed, went really smooth. Everything was great. Shadow of Doubt was one that from the onset it became a disaster, and it just kept getting worse all the time. It started out really great. It was a very simple concept that we were going to shoot inside of someone's house. We ended up shooting it inside an airplane hangar.
Wow.
Because every location started falling out, and finally ended up getting to Rockledge Airport, which was great. And we made all kinds of arrangements and got all in, rolled into shooting, and everyone said, well, we don't remember talking to you. But we got through that, worked out pretty well. We ended up, opening shot in that film is a vet.
So what I'm hearing here is, if you want a quick education in crisis management, become a filmmaker.
Yeah, I think you really need to do that just as a director.
Just as a director?
When everybody looks at being a director, it's always flashy. What kind of camera angles do you have? What kind of shots, sort of that? How do you actually take a script and translate to a story? And that's a good part of it and very important. Equally important is just managing the chaos. Because when you start getting into a larger production, which was really, my first larger production was Shadow of Doubt, you start instantly having 12 people who need your attention right now, right then, and what's the solution on this?
This is what happens when you put a bunch of artists in the same room together. You got actors and writers and cinematographers, and someone, it's like a romper room. Someone has to be responsible for herding all of these wet cats together.
Well, there's one word that's a real give and take, and it's super important to who your crew is. I was very fortunate in the fact that I had a great crew and a great cast. I mean, all that just fell in. So the people I really could never have been happier with. But it's, especially from the director's standpoint, it's a real big thing that you've got to go, okay, let me let this go, and I know that's going to get handled, and I don't have to glance over there anymore. Let me get this handled. I know that's going to be handled. I don't have to glance there over more. And just have the faith and actually have people that you know that in 90 minutes when you turn around and say, I need this, it's going to be there.
That's fantastic.
So it's a really good thing. So it's kind of, you know, stepping outside your comfort zone.
How long have you been working in filmmaking?
I've actually been working in filmmaking since 1992, but in a very different realm. I started out as a visual effects artist.
Wow.
And independent. So I started actually with computer animation before anyone knew anything about what computer animation was. So when you said, I'm a computer animator, you had to explain, we take computers and we make pictures. It's kind of cool. And nobody really understood anything about that. And then it was a pretty good field until everybody got into it. And then all of a sudden it got from, are you talented, are you skilled, are you willing to work all day and night for $13 or less? You know, and so that field kind of got out. And I've got to actually thank my wife, because I just got to the point in my life where I was really having to look and say, okay, what am I going to do from now on? And she basically just shoved me and said, you know, if you want to do this, get out and do it for real.
That's
right? It's really just talk about it, don't talk about it, do it.
Now you're a professional screenwriter.
I am.
Okay.
That's a fairly recent development.
Yeah. What are you working on a project right now?
I'm working on a project right now called In the Details. I just finished up a script for one called The Basement, which is going to be filmed starting on 5 January, directed by Matt Green in Atlanta. Which is the same team that we actually just did the Atlanta 48-hour film contest.
Yeah, I understand that you did very well.
We actually won it for Best Picture, the Audience Choice Award, Best Editing, which by just default I ended up editing the thing, and best visual effects.
Fantastic.
And best props as well. So it was a clean.
It's
not a total clean sweep, but it was a pretty good showing.
It's pretty good showing.
It was quite nice, so we were happy.
Well, you know, film places are interesting places. As you said, a lot of what you're doing is managing chaos. Things go wrong. Somebody's got to manage it on the spot. They're also interesting places. A lot of great stories come off the film set. Not on the camera. Those are great movies, but on the film set. Tell me, what stands out in your mind, say, with Shadow of a Doubt? Is there a moment in Shadow of a Doubt when you just knew you were doing something special? There was a moment that things came together for you?
I don't think that one was one that I really had a lot that was special from the production side of it. In this one, the things that really broke out wasn't so much the crew, because everyone was doing a great job and everybody had it. And for the most part, there were people I worked with before, so I kind of knew what to expect from all of them.
Already clicked.
So we already kind of had that mesh together. What really, if there was any magic that really got into it, I really got to give it to the cast, especially at one of my lead actresses was a lady named Kelly Colburn. Okay. And the lead man was Jason Pierce, and they were an ex-husband, ex-wife. The ex-wife was very manipulative, but she's very emotional about it too. Yeah. And I gave them a couple of run-throughs and kind of, I'm looking for this. And when they got into there, they had a couple of their exchanges where they were just going at each other.
Where you just felt like, wow.
Where I was like, everybody stand up and shut up. Let's just go there. And so that interaction.
In journalism, we usually have to turn around and go, "You did get that, right?"
Oh, they did. And it was, and I had a few of those, like, please tell me that all worked. Please tell me we got everything right. But it was one of those where I've really got to say they magnified the words on the page, which I was kind of proud of. But they took it 3-4 times better. They really did it. And what really enhanced that on top of that was the actress who played the crazy sister, Rachel Reese. She started out and she was good, but I pushed her because I sort of saw like I could really get something out of her. So I frankly didn't let her know how good she was when she was starting. And I'm like, no, we got to do this again.
So directors are like dads. I remember my kids did really good things at school, and I would tell them, that didn't stink.
And that's precisely how that went. And when I pushed her, she put some performances on there that when we had cut, the whole room was silent.
Wow.
And she just had a freaky aura over that. I think the thing that was really limiting about it was the fact that the camera itself, couldn't really fully translate what we were seeing in the room.
Wow.
As good as it was. She was that good and that powerful.
Do you have a genre that you love, that you like to work in most? Or
for independent, for the directing side of it, we're really the people I'm with in the team. We sort of gotten a thing of every next thing has to be different. Like our next one is called Beyond the Grey Sunset.
Okay.
Which has part of it taking place in medieval Saxony and in the 1950s. And one of the big aspects of that is we've never done something that has that kind of aspect to it. So
and you're not just shooting a period piece, you're shooting two period pieces.
They interlink pretty well. But again, we got really a lot more people keep joining in. And they've seen some of the stuff we've done in the past and say, hey, I want to be part of that, which is always great.
Yeah.
And really talented people, which the other aspect that I'm very fortunate with is that I'm starting to, myself personally, I'm getting to a point that I've got enough contacts that I can go, hey, here's a great costume. You really need to talk to this girl. You need to do this and all that. So I get to be the relay for some really, really great people, which has worked out on both the talent and the crew side.
Yeah. So, this is an amazing community to be a part of.
It is.
And we're new to this, and we've been welcomed and felt that way since we got here. We love creative people anyway, but to be welcomed in here has been great. So to grow in stature to where you're the hub for these guys is fantastic for you.
Yeah, but hub it's a very loose term. I mean,
it shifts.
I'm a lot of time more like a traffic cop. It's just you do that. And in fact, and again, the present one I'm working on, Beyond the Grey Sunset, is a great example of that, because we've got models being built and CG, and there's entire virtual environments and map paintings and all that, which I wrote and am directing this one. But there's several, we've actually broken into departments, and there's several departments where there's elements on it on my own film where they said, okay, you told us what you want.
Now go away.
Leave us alone, and we'll tell you what you're getting right. So I've got a castle that's being built as a rather large model with a lot of intricate parts.
Wow.
That I'm really excited to find out what I'm going to get out of this, because I gave him some elements to say, I want to see this, and I want to see this.
When you see it on film, you'll know that he's seen it.
Yes.
That we don't know much until then, though.
Yeah.
Where are you headed from here? Where are you headed next? Where's your next festival? Or
I'm actually very fond of the Melbourne Independent Film Festival, or Independent Filmmakers Festival, because that's really when I first even thought about independent films. This is the first one. This is my hometown. This is my home turf. But really, the big productions I've got going on are going to be based primarily up in Atlanta at the moment, with potential. I got 2 that maybe go in New York. Some things that are really kind of not definite on that is I've got many more people who want my scripts than I actually have time to write for, which is a great spot to be in. But it's also in some ways a roadblock. It's a good roadblock, but it's also one that's kind of limiting in the fact that when I start looking at going, okay, independent film or the independent shorts are great to direct. I'd really like to break into a feature. When am I going to have time to work on it?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It kind of goes back to when we did used to do visual effects, where the worst time to really develop yourself is when you're actually working doing something.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to really go and try things out. Because when you're actually working with somebody else, it's not time to experiment and get a bloody nose.
Yeah.
Which we're going back to say the good thing about Shadow Doubt was we tried a lot of different things. There's something I have with the crew that we say, let's try one impossible thing every film, and figure out a way to do it.
I like that.
So we keep pushing on things and going back and forth and hitting on this.
Yeah. But
you can do that when you're doing shorts and independents like that. You can say, let's try this. It may work, it may not, but let's find it out. When people are writing checks and there's budgets involved and that sort of thing, that's not the time to play around, because nobody's got a tolerance. Nobody's got a tolerance for, hey, I've got a really good idea and I want to be the good idea fairy. Because it's basically, okay, you're a cool guy, thanks, go home.
Wow, that's really, it's been 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to listen to you. I won't argue with you. We're going to wrap it up, and as we do so, we are going to say a special thanks to our partners and our friends at Something Unique Magazine, Space Coast Comics, Wordfire Press, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Heather Reed at the Asylum Convention and Entertainment Services Company. We are so grateful for them. They share these videos and these creative people all over the World Wide Web. We want to thank Russell for coming in and hanging out with us a little bit. I'm GW Pomichter. We've been hanging with Russell Sanders, a screenwriter and the director of Shadow of Doubt. We're at the Melbourne Independent Filmmaker Festival 2017. Remember, folks, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.